Good evening, everyone. This is your mentor Shivani Sharma from mentorbuddy.com. I hope I'm audible to everyone in the class. Can all of you hear me? Please respond through the chat box if I'm audible. So students, let us quickly start the session today. And as you all know that Infosys Drive is just around the corner. So those of you who are preparing for your campus drive for Infosys, MentorBuddy has come up with 3 mock tests to facilitate your practice for the same. And I hope that everybody has registered for the program. Good evening, Sankirat. How are you? So hope you have gone through the mock tests that are available on MentorBuddy website. Right? We have discussed one mock test in the last class. So today let us quickly start with the discussion of the next mock test. Right? So let me just show you the MentorBuddy website. We will share the screen from there. Right. So this is the MentorBuddy website, and if you're going to log in from the company test, this is what you are going to have a look at, right? So from there, just go to Infosys Off Campus 2021 mock paper, and today we are going to do mock test 1, right? So let's open mock test 1, and we'll straight away go to verbal ability. Right, so what we have to do here, right, so I'm just switching on the reattempt mode so that you cannot see the answers for yourself. Right, now this is the first RC that you are going to have a look at, and based upon this RC you will get around 4 to 5 questions you will get on the basis of this RC. So as I've discussed in my last class also, students, whenever you have to attempt a reading comprehension question, the first and the basic thing that you are going to do would be, you'll just go through the passage, right? So there is a way of reading that we call as skimming, right? So just like we have skimmed milk, right? Similarly, skimming is a reading technique. With the help of skimming, we just try to get an overall idea about what is, or what the writer's intention is there behind writing this, right? So you just try to get hold of that. So what I would request you all to do is just have a look at this, this passage, go through this passage, read it. I'm giving you 2 minutes time so that you will get an overall idea about the passage. Try to underline, or you can also write it down somewhere, whatever you think are the key words that will help you in getting a rough idea about the flow of the passage. Right? I'm giving you 2 minutes time for the same. So I hope that all of you have gone through the details, right? So let us quickly have a look at the first question. So the first question says, according to the passage, what is the problem with using ammonia as a substitute for water? Right? So the options given are ammonia contains more hydrogen atoms as compared to water, or ammonia has nitrogen content which is not very healthy if and when used for drinking purpose. The third answer says water can accept, or the third option says, not answer, but the option says water can accept or donate hydrogen atoms to various useful compounds, while ammonia is more towards accepting hydrogen atoms than donating. Option D says all of the above, and option E says only options A and B. So, students, what do you think? Which is the correct answer for the same? Now, if you focus at the passage that is mentioned out here, I would like to request all of you to have a look at the third paragraph. I'm sure that you people are also viewing this from your windows as well, right? If not, then what the answer for this question will get in third paragraph, right? So let me just read this out. Could life exist without water? Ammonia is another electrically charged molecule that can dissolve organic molecules and many elemental metals. Water is, of course, one oxygen and two hydrogen atoms. Ammonia is one nitrogen and three hydrogen atoms. And the problem with ammonia, right? So, this talks about the problem with ammonia. What are we looking at? What is the problem with using ammonia as a substitute of water? So, we have got our answer here that the problem with ammonia is that while water will happily accept an extra hydrogen or donate a hydrogen to form various useful compounds, ammonia is more likely to accept a hydrogen, right? So, students, let's go back and look at the options. So, in which option do you see that this particular point is mentioned? So, I think most of you have got that now, that the correct answer for this particular question is option C, that water can accept or donate hydrogen atoms to various useful compounds, while ammonia is more towards accepting hydrogen than donation. Right. Now, if you just focus at option A and option B, one thing that you will surely find here is that the question is asking about problems, right? And option A and option B are pointing more towards the challenge and not exactly as a problem, right? So I hope this question is clear to everybody now. Let us have a look at the second question. The second question asks, according to the passage, what is or are the probable reasons in support of ammonia to consider it as an alternative to water? Right. So you have to find out from the passage that what exactly are the probable reasons that why writer is giving, support to ammonia. So I'll tell you that where does the answer to this question lie. So look at the third paragraph again, right? Now, if you will look at the third paragraph, first line, it says that ammonia is another electrically charged molecule that can dissolve organic molecules and many elemental metals, right? And this is what our question is asking, that why or the writer or the author is supporting ammonia, that we can make use of it as an alternative to water, right? So I think we all have got our answer, right? Have you all got the answer? Are you not able to see the screens? Students, is the screen not visible? Sankirat, are you able to see the screen? All right, so let's just have a look at the answer. So the correct answer for this question is option A, that ammonia is an electrically charged molecule, same as water, that can dissolve organic molecules and many elemental metals, right? Let's have a look at the next one. Now, according to the passage, which of the following statement is false? A virus has water inside its tiny, creepy lunar lander alien looking package of RNA. Right? So the passage talks about this, right? Very clearly, it is visible. The second option says exoplanets showing signs of water will always excite us more than hot rocks where it rains glass sideways. Right? So here it is mentioned in the last paragraph exoplanets showing signs of water will always excite us more than hot rocks. Right? Let us have a look at the next option that is given. It says there are fundamental reasons why water is the key ingredient for life. It is also given in the passage. Chemical reactions take place more rapidly in ammonia. Right? So, students, let's go back to fourth paragraph. So, we'll just have a focus on fourth paragraph. And if we have a look at the fourth line, it says chemical reactions take place more slowly in ammonia. Right. So what is it? That the chemical reactions take place more slowly. Whereas the options giving over here in question number 3 are saying that chemical reactions take place more rapidly in ammonia. So which of the following statement is false? It is option number D is the correct answer for question number 3. Right. Let's have a look at the next question. Now, you will very often you will come across these kind of questions where the writer asks about the tone of author in the passage, right? This is also a very important question, and I would like all of you to understand that how can you define about the tone of the passage, right? These are easy to answer. So judgmental means when the writer is giving you positives and negatives, right? When the writer is clearly mentioning that this is something which is very right, right? The second option over here is laudatory. Do you know what is the meaning of laudatory? Laudatory means when you are expressing something out of praise or you are just commending something. That is called as laudatory, right? Then we have skeptical. I'm sure most of you are having a knowledge about this. Skeptical means when you are having a doubt related with something. Then we have the next option as sulking. Sulking means when you are just full of bad temper, just because out of annoyance, or you are just silent because of that annoyance. That is called as sulking. And informative, of course, you all know, where the writer is trying to put across different points in favor of the topic, right? So it is very clear from the passage. I'm sure that while everybody was going through the passage, or when you have read this passage, it was clear to you that the writer is talking about water and its usage, why it is considered to be the best, why you cannot substitute drink with a glass full of water, and why the writer doesn't like that. At the same time, it also talks about the characteristic of ammonia as well, right? So, what do you think? What is the correct answer? What is the tone of the author in the passage? It's not judgmental. The writer is not saying that you should use this and you should not use this. The writer is also not expressing any praise or commendation. Is not having doubts also. Is not seeming to be bad tempered. So the clear answer for this question is the writer or the author is just trying to be informative. Right? So for question number 4, the correct answer is option E. Am I clear? Right. So now the next question, you will also find these kind of questions in your exam, that what is the suggested correct, the title. Which title would you like to suggest to the author? Have a look at this and then tell me what do you think is the correct answer. Yes. Which of the following do you think can be the most probable title for the passage. Can we ever find a substitute for water? Pour one out for water, ammonia versus water, the challenges of replacing water, or ammonia, a perfect substitute of water. What do you think is the correct answer for question number 5? So, students, if you have a look at the different options that are provided to you will see that throughout the passage, the writer is not only talking about ammonia and neither only about water, right? So you can clearly discard options C and option E, right? Because the entire passage is not about ammonia, right? So C and E are out of question. Now we are left with A, B, and D. Is there any place in the passage where you could see that the writer is talking about a substitution of water or an alternative to water? It was not the main intention of the author in writing the passage, right? So this will also help you in eliminating option A and D. So option A says, can we ever find a substitute for water or the challenges of replacing water? Now, when the writer is not having that intention also of bringing about or replacement of water, then all these questions, all these options are out of question, right? So through technique of elimination, we have come to the correct answer, and that correct answer is pour one out for water, right? So the correct answer for this question is option B, pour one out for water. Is that clear? So I hope that all of you were able to do the first 5 questions, and most of you are able to get the correct answer for the same, right? Now let us have a look at one of the questions from rearrangement. So students, if you want to learn more tips and techniques of solving verbal ability questions, you can also visit Vector Buddy website. We have a lot of videos available there on verbal ability, with the help of which you can boost your preparation. You can understand the concepts, how to solve reading comprehension or how to solve rearrangement of sentences also. Right? Now look at all these 6 statements and you have to make a correct sequence of the same. So these type of sentences generally gets converted into one paragraph, one small paragraph. So you have to kind of restructure them in a sequence. So I'm giving you 1 minute time to do the same. Right. So we have all 6 sentences. Now, students, if you're just going to focus on the first alphabet or the first word of each question, each statement, you will be getting the answer. Right. Now, if you look at the sentence, the first sentence, that is A, it starts with this information. Now, this being a demonstrative pronoun cannot come at the start, right? So that of course cannot be the first sentence. Outlining his predications, his is referring to a noun. And if you will just go through all these 6 sentences, you will find that there is only one person whose reference has been given, right? And that person is Apple analyst Ming Chi Q of KGI Security, right? So that means statement B will come after statement A only, right? Now, if you look at option C, it says Apple is reportedly all set to give a big revamp to its iPad lineup, right? This can be a starting statement, right? But let's go through the other statements also. However, now statement D starting with however. Of course, we cannot start a passage with however, right? However will only come after, when you are talking about two contrasting ideas, right? Option E says the company may launch not one, but as many as three models of its tablet next year. Right now, it is saying the company. That means we have already shared the name of that company. What is the name of the company? Apple. So, still, the sentence C seems to be the best choice for the first statement. Let us have a look at the statement F also. It says, according to a report in Apple Insider, citing QO, the upcoming iPad models will largely be of the same design as the existing models. Right. Now it is talking about a report and report in Apple Insider, citing QO, that the upcoming iPad models, right? So they are talking about iPad models. So we have got our first sentence, and that sentence is C, right? So Apple is reportedly all set to give a big revamp to its iPad lineup. So that is the first sentence that we all have got. Now the second sentence being the company may launch not one, right? So as we are referring to the company, which is Apple, so the second in preference would be C and E, right? So C and E, we have got the first two sentences now. Right, the company may launch not one but as many as three models of its tablet next year. Right, now if you just focus on the other sentences, now this is an information, right? And who has given this information? This information comes courtesy of the respected Apple analyst Ming Chi Q, right? So the what is going to be come at the third place? The third place will be A, option statement A. This information comes courtesy of the respected Apple analyst Ming Chi Q, right? That is A. Then outlining his predictions. So when we are saying his, definitely the name has been mentioned in the earlier statement. So after A, we will be having B, that outlining his predictions for the next generation iPads, QO said that they will come in three new screen sizes. And after B, right, then we have, however, there will reportedly be no major design change, right? So that will come at D. And finally, statement F will come at the last. So we have got the correct sequence as C, E, A, B, D, F. C, E, A, B, D, and F, right? So which is the fifth sentence after arrangement, after rearrangement? Yes, I hope everybody has got the answer. The correct answer is option D. Now, once you have solved this rearrangement, it becomes very easy for you to give an answer. What is the sentence that will come at the second place after rearrangement? The second sentence would be, the correct answer is option 2, that is E, because we have just now seen that the sequence would be C, E, A, B, D, F. Right, so I'll also share it through the chat message. The correct sequence is C, E, A, B, D, F. Clear? So the second sentence after rearrangement is E. And I think you are able to understand that on what basis and what criteria I have, sorted out the sentence structuring. Right, try to follow the simple method. Look at the first word of each of the options, and it will be helpful for you in getting the correct sequence. Which is the first sentence? Very easy and very clear. The first sentence is option C, right? Or the sentence C that is given as option A. Clear? Any questions? Which is the sixth sentence? So what is going to come at the last? At the last, we have statement F, and that is option D. So what is the correct answer? Option D. That is statement F is going to come at the last. Clear? Now we are going to do another set of questions that is also very important. In the last class also we have done this. This is basically talking about that read the given sentences. And students, as I've told in last class also, whenever you have to solve a verbal ability paper, go through the instructions of the question very clearly, because sometimes there is just a little bit of change in the instructions because of which your question goes wrong, right? So the instruction says read the given sentences to find out whether there are any grammatical or contextual errors in them. The errors, if any, will be in two of the parts or phrases of the sentences, and the combination of those parts will be the answer of that question. If no part in the sentence has an error, then mark no error as your answer. So you just have to, go through the entire sentence, and as you see, it is divided in four parts: A, B, C, and D. You have to identify which part of the sentence contains an error. Right. So usually you'll write, see in the answer, you can see there are two parts mentioned: A, B, A, C, B, C, and B, D. So you have to identify which two parts are having an error in them. Right. So let's have a look. It says, at the beginning of his career, while he was still a boy roaming about the hills of Cornwall, he had sketched a portrait on the cover of a little book which contained his notes. Right? So, after going through this, I'm sure that some of you are able to get the answer of the same also, right? Is there anyone who is able to get to the correct answer as well? It's very simple. At the beginning of his career. Now, students, just focus on the preposition. What is the preposition that is used? At. Right. Now, when do we make use of the preposition at? When we are talking about a place, right? Or we are talking about a particular place or a particular location, then we make use of at. But here, what are we talking about? We are talking about a point of time, right? A tenure, that during the start of his career. So instead of at the beginning, the correct the correct word or the correct preposition which has to be used over here instead of at is in. So the correct sentence would be in the beginning of his career while he was, right? So option C and D discarded because the error lies in option A. Now either option B or option C is having another error. Still a boy roaming about the hills of Cornwall, he had sketched a portrait on the cover. I'm sure most of you have got the error, right? So, which tense construction is this? This is past perfect tense, right? Because we are making use of had, and we all know that with had we use third form of verb. So we are going to also make use of the past participle of the verb, and the past participle is sketched. So instead of sketch, it has to be sketched. So in the beginning of his career, while he was still a boy roaming about the hills of Cornwall, he had sketched a portrait on the cover of a little book which contained his notes. Right? So the correct answer for this question, I hope everybody has got the correct answer. That is option B. A and C are having an error. Clear? Isn't it easy? Right. Now let me see how many of you are able to solve this. Although an intelligent and observing child, Lyle did not showed. I hope everybody has got the error, huh? Lyle did not showed any particular love for nature until his 11th year, when ill health made it necessary for him to leaving school and go home for a few months. Right? So what do you say, students? I hope everybody has got the answer, right? But still, I'm giving you all a chance to mark your answers. I hope everybody has done that, right? So very rightly, as most of you have observed, that option A is having an error. It says, although an intelligent and observing child, Lyle did not showed, right? So as a rule of grammar, the base form of the verb show has to be used with the modal verb did, right? Please note it down very clearly that with the modal verb did, we always make use of the base form of the verb without adding an ed or d to it. Clear? So that is the error that we have in the A part of the sentence. Now, part B says any particular love for nature until his 11th year when. Now, B part does not seem to have any error in terms of grammar, right? Or in terms of contextual errors. Now, look at C part. Ill health made it necessary for him to leaving school. I hope everybody has got the idea where is the error, right? So if you just focus on this, you will see that there is an infinitive construction. What is the infinitive construction? That you have to add a verb with to, right? So with to, we do not make use of verb plus ing. It has to be to with the base form of the verb. And what is the base form of the verb here? Leave, right? So the answer that you are going to get will be ill health made it necessary for him to leave school, right? So option C is the correct answer, which says that A and C part of the sentence contains an error, right? So this gives our correct answer to us. Clear? I hope you are able to understand the explanations that we are sharing. Now again, this is a very, very interesting and a very easy one. He will ever be remembered in historic for the mighty change he accomplished in the world's religion practices by becoming a Christian. Now, in the options, as you can see, option 1 says C, then option 2 says D, third option says B, A, and then finally there is an option which says all have errors. It's not easy to come to this conclusion that all the part of the sentence is having an error, but still if you go through the sentence, it says he will ever be remembered, right? Now when we are talking about something that has already passed, right, so we are going to make use of the past participle form of the verb, right? The verb is remember, so you have to make use of the past participle form. And what is the past participle form? Remembered, right? So that means part A is having an error. Now, if you focus on part B, it says in historic for the mighty. He will ever be remembered in historic. No, in history. So he will ever be remembered in history for the mighty change he accomplished, because we are talking about something that he has already done in the past. So he accomplished in the words religion practices, or in the words religious practices, right? So see, the adjective religious has to be used here. What is religion? Religion is a noun, right? We are talking about practices, right? So we are not going to make use of noun, rather we'll be making use of an adjective here. So we have got that all the parts of the sentence contains an error. So we are going to say that all have errors as an answer to this question. Clear, students? Now, there are few more questions that will, challenge you to utilize your knowledge of English grammar to give an answer for the same. Let us have a look at this. It says, the policeman rounding up the duo escaped from the gunshot, but the bullet hit a metro rail worker sitting in a passing four-wheeler on his collarbone. He is rushed to a private hospital and is recovering. Right. Now, once you will focus on this particular sentence, you have to understand the concept first, right? So the concept or the incident, actually it took place in the past, right? So option D can be directly eliminated because it is talking about will be rushed, right? So it is directly eliminated. Now we are talking about something that has already happened in the past. That means we have to look for something that has a past prerogative to it, right? So we are discarding was rush here, right? So we can eliminate these options. Now students understand that this person got injured and he has already been taken to the hospital. So that means the work is not in progress, right? Now the work is not in the progress and it is done, right? So something which is not in progress and something that has already been done, we are going to have the correct answer. And I'm sure that by far you have understood what is the correct answer for this. So the correct answer is has been rushed, right? If we would have this option A as had been rushed, probably that could have been a better suited option here. But as it is written had been rushed, so we are not going to consider it as an option. And option B is the correct answer, that he has been rushed to a private hospital and is recovering, right? So the correct answer for question number 3 is option B. Clear? Now, the Congress trailed behind the Bharatiya Janata Party in the Rajasthan civic elections, the results of which were announced on Thursday, but managed to close the gap with the ruling party created in the previous Lok Sabha and the Assembly elections, right? So it is talking basically about the two political parties, that is Congress and BJP, and they are basically talking about the Rajasthan civic elections, right? So what do you think, students? What is the correct choice? Now, if you just focus on the phrase, it says trailed behind. Right. Now, when we are talking about any race, any competition, any challenge, right? So behind will make sense that you were, competing with somebody and you were lagged behind. But you will not say that I was lagged below, right? So you might be behind the winner, but you will not be below the winner. So option A and B can be clearly ruled out, saying that below is not the correct answer. Now, trailing behind. Trailing behind means a concept that is having an IG, means an action that is still in progress. Here we are talking about the results that have already been announced, right? So ing will not be an option. Trail behind means something that is happening in present, right? But we are talking about an action or something that is already done in the past. So the correct option here would be the same as mentioned in the sentence, that is trailed behind, right? So that means this particular words that are mentioned in bold, they do not have any error and seem to be the best fit for the sentence. Clear? Right. Now let's just have a look at this. Right. So the question says, the government's announced promises boost for growth drivers tourism. Right? The government's announced promises. Right. So what are we looking for? What which part of the figure of speech do you think is going to work out here? The government's announced promises. Right. What do you think? The government's announced promises. Yes, students? So we are looking for something that will act as a noun here. The government's what? And which of the present option do you think is talking about a noun? It is the government's announcement, and that promises boost for growth drivers tourism. So the correct answer for this question is option D. Clear? So D is the correct option that we are looking for, and that says announcement. Now, another very interesting and important thing. In each of the following passage, there are 5 highlighted words, right? I request all of you to have a look at the instructions. Right. So this says that in the following passage, there are 5 highlighted words, each of which has been numbered. These numbers are given along the passage, and against each 5 options are given. In each of the 4 options, one word is suggested. Find out the appropriate word which can replace the highlighted word to make the sentence grammatically and contextually correct. If the word in bold fits the passage, then choose option E as no correction required as the correct choice. Right? So the next set of questions you will find based on this only. Right? So it is written out here. Let us have a look at the first word that is mentioned. It says, and just as those artists have gone on to benefiting and prosper in the galleries, they once rejected the alternative spaces that launched their careers have become part of the art world status quo. Right. Now, if you just focus on this word benefiting, right? And if you're looking for a solution, right? So focus on this past participle. Sorry, the focus on this infinitive that is mentioned out here. What is the infinitive? The infinitive used is to, right? So with the infinitive to, by rule, we know that only the first form of verb can follow, right? So that clearly means that option E is ruled out. That means benefiting is not the proper word here, right? Now just focus on what is written after benefiting and prosper, right? So students, in my last class also I've shared this, and again I'm telling you about this. Whenever you are looking for a correct, a correct word that has to be filled in or a substitute to a particular word, always try to look for the word before that blank, or before the word preceding the change that you're looking for, and after that. As you see here, the infinitive to is used, that that brought us to the conclusion that benefiting is not the right word. And after benefiting, as you can see, it is written and prosper, right? So that means we are looking for a word which is a synonym with prosper, right? That is why it is written and prosper. Now if you have a look at the 4 options that are available, have gone on to approve and prosper. Now we are looking for a synonym of prosper. Approve will not go with it. Have a look at divulge. Do you know what is divulge? Divulge means when you are trying to reveal something, or when you are trying to disclose something. Right now, again, this does not make sense using here, because we are looking for a word that is similar in meaning to prosper. Divulge will also again not come. Command, again, it's not required in the context. So the only option and the best option that can go with the word prosper is thrive, right? Because thrive is a synonym of prosper. So we have got the correct answer for this question as thrive. That is option B, right? So for question number 16, the correct answer is option B. Clear? Now, have a look at the next sentence and it will help us in finding out what is the problem with the word out here, right? So the next one says the single most important factor behind the emergence of alternative spaces has been a parallel growth in federal and state funding for the arts. Most of New York City's alternative spaces rendered at least half of their funds from the National Endowment of the Arts, right? So now what are we saying? That most of New York City's alternative spaces dash at least half of their funds, right? Now focus on the word rendered. What we are looking for? We are looking for donations, right? It is saying that the single most important factor behind the emergence of alternative spaces has been a parallel growth in federal and state funding for the arts. Right. So most of New York City's alternative spaces, that means we are talking about what has brought in. Right. So rendered, require, procure, all these words do not fit in grammatically here. Right. So what are we looking for? We are looking for donations, right? And how these donations are received. So what is the correct answer that we are looking at? The correct answer for this question is, because we are talking about from, right? Most of New York's alternative spaces received at least, right? Now, if you also look at the preposition from in the sentence from the National Endowment of Arts, right? Dash at least half of their funds from the National Endowment of the Arts. So you receive something from. So by also focusing at this preposition from, you will get an idea that what are we looking for. So basically the correct answer for question number 17 that we are looking for is receive. Clear? Right? So now let us have a look at the next question. Now, this is also a very interesting and an important one. And please do ensure that the words that you are coming across, if you are not aware of the meaning of these words, please try to find out the meaning of these words and then answer. Right? Make a note of, all these words, because this will also help you in, upgrading your vocabulary. At the same time, you will be coming across words that are difficult. It might be possible that you will get some, the antonyms or synonyms question as well, right? So they have to give you 20 questions, and it can be a combination of any of the, the different parts that comes under verbal ability. So kindly go through it and let me know if you are able to find out the meaning of the same. Right. So she opened her new museum in 1977. I wanted to make a place where art and artists were the subservience, explains Tucker, who left a curatorial pass at the Whitney Museum of American Art. Now, right. Do you know what is subservience or who is subservience? Right. So basically, the word subservience is a noun, and that means when you are, willing to obey others without asking any questions. That is what we mean by subservience. Right. Now, look at the sentence. It is just trying to draw a similarity between art and artists. And as you can see, it is talking about a museum. And who has opened this Museum? Tucker, right? So the Tucker is the opener of the museum. Now the correct word that we are trying to make to make use over here, I wanted to make a place where art and artists were the subservience. No, right? So what are they looking for? Art and artists as gatekeepers? No. Art and artists as curators? No. Art and artists as culprits? Right. So you also have to take into consideration that what is the context of the passage. In what context are we looking for a particular word? Right. So as I told you that subservience means willingness to obey others unquestioningly. Right. So what Tucker is looking for is a place where art and artists were the priority. Right. So we have got the correct answer for this particular question as option A, that art and artists were the priority for Tucker. Right, students? I hope that you all have started enjoying this now, because the moment when you are solving these questions and you are able to make the sense out of it, it becomes easy in terms of understanding also, and in terms of explanation as well. Right. So the Whitney has had become corporate. I wanted to take a theoretical approach to a museum. I wondered how an organization could be structured in a way that would be analogous to the thing I served. One way the new museum attempts to achieve this is by conspiring on art made within 10 years of the present. Right. Now look at the context. What the writer means to say. The writer or the sentence talks about achieving the goal of the organization. Right. And achieving the goal of the organization is something that is analogous to the thing it served. Right. So definitely the word conspiring is not correct. Because conspiring means what? Conspiring means to make secret plans jointly, right? Or to commit an unlawful or harmful act, right? So you have to take into consideration that this eliminates conspiring. The word conspiring is out of question. Now let's have a look at the other options which are available for us. So the first word, so of course, no correction required is out of the question. We have to look for a correction. Now, the first option given is floundering. How many of you know what is floundering? The word floundering means when you are struggling for something, right? And that too in a clumsy manner. So that is what we call as floundering, right? So again, floundering is not something that we are looking for here. One way the new museum attempts to achieve this is by floundering on art made within 10 years. No, we are, see, this passage has a very positive connotation, and sometimes if you have understood the idea or the objective that the writer has in mind, or the kind of the approach that the writer is having, it becomes easier for you to answer the questions. So we are looking for a positive approach, whereas the word conspiring and the word floundering are having a negative connotation, right? Now we are looking for something with a positive connotation. So of course we have two words here, focusing and hoping. Right. Now if we just have a look at the option 4, that is the word for which we are looking replacement, conspiring, the preposition after that is on. Right. So certainly hoping on is not a right choice. So we have got the correct answer as focusing. So instead of instead of conspiring, the word which can replace this particular word in the passage is focusing, right? So that gives us the correct answer. Let's move on to the last part of the verbal ability section of this paper, right? So again, have a look at the fifth word. So the fifth word says, right. So, focusing on art made within 10 years of the present. I hope that fact will enable us to keep changing, that we will be moderate, foolish, intelligent, smart, sporting, enough to change every idea that we now have, says Tucker. Right? Now, moderate. Do you think moderate is the correct word in, which is having a relevance here? That we will be moderate enough to change every idea? No. Right? So that means we are looking for a correction here. Let us have a look at the different options. It says foolish. Foolish, of course, is not the word that we are looking for. Sport, no. Critical, again, not. Right? See, remember, we are looking for a word with a positive connotation. Right? Now, we are talking about different zones, right? And in these different zones, we are looking for a positive word. Foolish, intelligent, smart, sporting, right? So all these words are already mentioned over here. So that means we are looking for somebody who has a flexibility in order to be in all zones, right? So option D and E, they do not fit the context. The word should be the one which could cover all adjectives. What are the adjectives used here? Foolish, intelligent, smart, sporting, right? So it's a mix of all positive and negative words. So we have to look for a word that can suit all the context, right? So if you're looking for a neutral word, that word given in the options or among the options are flexible, right? And a flexible person suits in, in the zone of being foolish or intelligent or smart or sporting, whatever you feel, right? So the correct answer or the replacement that we are looking for the fifth word is flexible, right? So with this particular question, we have completed all the 20 questions of this paper. I hope that you people were able to understand the questions and the discussions that we had so far. And I'm sure while going through the video, you have understood the analysis of each of the questions, why a particular answer is right or why a particular answer is wrong, because that is how, this will prepare you for the upcoming papers. So as I have suggested earlier also, we have 3 mock tests available for Infosys Campus Placement Drive on MentorBuddy website. So you all can visit MentorBuddy website and solve those 3 questions, those 3 papers for yourself, right? I'm sure everybody is aware of the same, that how you're going to, visit MentorBuddy website. For the link of upcoming webinars, you will get the link from here only, from the web, from our YouTube channel. So I would like to request all of you to stay tuned, watch all the relevant content that is available for you on YouTube. We have made a lot of videos on reasoning, a lot of videos on verbal ability for your benefit, so that you can solve Infosys paper. And once you'll be preparing for it, the MentorBuddy website will definitely act as, as a booster for you. So if your performance is average around, let's say, 50 to 60%, solving these tests, going through all the videos that are available on MentorBuddy website will improve it to 80 or 90% also, right? So that is the ability, or that is the beauty of practicing all the questions. Thank you so much, students. I hope that all of you have enjoyed a lot, right? And you have got to understand the concept that I was trying to put across. Feel free to write back to us or share your comments and feedback. We'll be looking forward to have more sessions with all of you. Stay tuned with MentorBuddy for more updates, for more webinars, and for more practice tests like this related with TCS, related with Infosys, or related with upcoming campus placement drives. Thank you so much for joining in. Stay home, stay safe, and do practice hard for your exams. All the good wishes, and may you all come out with flying colors. Thank you so much. Take care. This is your mentor, Shivani Sharma from mentorbuddy.com, signing off. Thank you.